Good afternoon, everybody. It's Monday, October 20th, 5:30. We're going to call the joint Board of Selectmen Budget Committee meeting to order. I have Ann, Steve, Jenny, and Charlie, and I'm Andy here. Kendall?
The budget committee, we're waiting for a couple members who said they're on their way in. But Frank Garcia, you here? Frank's here. And Michelle,
Here.
David Rowley present. Sandy Coleman has told me she's on her way in. And Jamie Lightfoot is absent without notice.
Okay, shall we get started, folks? First item on the agenda is executive budget.
Alright, so this, first couple of lines are salaries, so we have one for our town manager. You'll see the decrease because last year was the hiring process, so the number was a little bit higher. The next line goes to the finance assistant, and I put in there how we break things down. So myself, Ron, and Luann are all broken down the same way, where 75% is charged to general fund, 8.34% to the electric, and 8.33% to each water and sewer. We left the overtime the same. Luann's been doing some of the minutes, so sometimes that causes overtime. I didn't want to decrease it in the event that he keeps doing it. Or if we get another minute taker, we could also use that line from there. BOS, you haven't asked us to increase your salary, so we left that the same. Trustees of the trust fund, so they sometimes have specific things that they need to send out. They do not take a stipend, but they also have their PO box rental fees out of here, so $500 has been sufficient for them for the last few years. FICA and Medicare is based off of the salaries above. The website, so as you know, we have a new website. We paid 3 years ahead, so there are some reoccurring fees to have the server access, which is going to be about $115 a year, but we're paid ahead for the rest of the website development. PB Cam expense, we've actually left that the same. I have a pending meeting with Dan Salzer, who's in charge over there, so we may get an update to that, but I do know they're not changing their rates for 26. Training, we left that the same, and that just enables us to be able to go to conferences or trainings that come up throughout the year. Like we'll be going to the NHMA conference here in a couple weeks, so. Computer expenses, it did go up, not terribly. We actually saw overall a 6% increase on the town spread amongst all the different departments that have computer monthly fees, but they did go up. Pitney Bowes, so I left that the same for right now. I do have kind of a to be determined on it because our lease is up next year on the postage machine, and there are a few things that we don't quite enjoy about it, so we may switch to another company, but it's been very much phone tagged with that company at this very moment, so that should be updated here within the next few weeks. The lease copier, which is the big copier at the town hall, we've had a decrease in usage, so we've actually dropped that from 4,500 to 3,800. I think that should be sufficient. Telephone and fiber, so I've been working on consolidating vendors, but sometimes that's not always as easy as it sounds. So we're actually working on moving all of the phone lines over to a voice over internet, which is the Nextiva that you can see on your spreadsheet. Touchstone, which is long distance right now, that's going to be going away at some point because the fax line will be going away. We did move the town manager's cell phone into this line, which is why you'll see it's more expended than anticipated because we pulled it from a different area in the budget. It should go here now, so that's partially for the increase. On First Light, we're working on the fiber number right now, so again, that should be revised before we finalize the budgets. Town manager expense, we did not change, it is overexpended this year, the search for a town manager got booked to that line, so, we don't anticipate that happening again next year. Advertising, we have a few more public hearings this year than anticipated, so that has been overexpended, but we're not anticipating that for next year. Town hall printing, actually decreased this a little bit. We have a lot of remaining town reports every year, so we're actually gonna take 50 off the books and see how we do with that. It's still always available online, but we thought we might try a little less, cause we have, Becky's nodding her head, we have a couple boxes readily available. So if anybody wants a town report, come to town.
Last year's.
Last year's.
Yeah.
Professional dues, they're anticipated to stay about the same, so I've booked it in for 2,400. Lakes Region Planning Commission, they usually communicate ahead of time, so 2,300 should be sufficient. General expense, so this is where we put like RPO box rental fees, business cards when they're needed for the town hall. Basically anything miscellaneous that has to do with the executive side of things. But we've also decreased that because we've seen a decrease in usage of that line. Restoration of books, we have kept the same. Mileage, again, we've seen a decrease there, so we actually decreased that from 600 to 200. So overall, it's down almost 1%. Does anybody have any questions on the executive?
We have a question over here.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks like most of the telephone increase was related to the town manager's cell phone going in there.
Yeah, so it previously was allocated to our building inspector, but when we have the MOU, it's covered under that agreement, so we actually reallocated the line and thus moved the expense over.
Okay,
So that's the majority of the
That was
increase.
gonna be my next question.
Yeah. It's you.
Oh, boy. All right, so,
Elections, registrations, and vital statistics.
that is me, all the things that I do. All right, so the first one is, clerk salary. I increased it, again this year, to make it more comparable to other town clerk and tax collectors. And, also note that the prior town clerk tax collector received a longevity pay, which was discontinued. I left the deputy salary the same. And then FICA and Medicare are obviously based on the lines above. The clerk training, we went up, there are a lot of trainings. And I wasn't necessarily, I didn't know where they all were last year, or I mean, not where they were located, but I didn't know how many there were or how much they cost because I hadn't gone through that cycle yet. So we increased that line. Advertising, we kept that the same.
Yeah, because you have 3 elections next year.
Yes, I do. And then the clerk expense, so that software, dog tags, and, we have the software we changed over, so we had to increase that a little bit. Is that a one-time thing? No.
Those are your annuals.
Yes,
Yeah.
my annuals. Postage, we moved that up a little bit because the postage has been going up twice a year now for a while. And the election salary,
Oh, that's actually, so, supervisors of the checklist, you'll see in your packet, they submitted theirs, with a little explanation. So they break down on the back side of it, how their monies are spent. So because there are 3 elections, the moderator is in there, they've allocated, $600 for ballot clerks. So it's $15 an hour, generally it's 11-hour days, and they need at least 6 clerks, so they've got 2,970. The supervisors of the checklist have a certain amount of times that they have to meet, so they actually broke that down into 11 working sessions, deliberative session, how many election days there are, and their estimated training, so they have 92 hours booked for the supervisors. And the chairman does do some admin work to get like payroll done or update things. So they have $7,950 there. Advertising, they have to put a notice out whenever they're meeting. So they put in 6 notices at about $100 each because they're fairly large that have to go in. They've kept their expense line at $300 and their postage line at $150. If anybody has any questions for the supervisors, I'm happy to communicate that to them. Bev's really great about answering things, so.
I have a question. What is the percentage that's represented, for the increase in salaries?
I didn't do it that way, but I can calculate it out.
It's on there.
Is
So
it-
your department head line,
Yep.
next to his department head, and that's percentage over current year budget.
Good, 10%.
So 10.
I'm sorry,
10%.
you got a 10% raise?
Yes.
But when it had the longevity, right, it was like 28,500, I'm just looking at it for 2024, and then it went to 25. And
Longevity.
now
has
it's
nothing
gone to
do with it.
2750, so it's like in line with what we had before.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit less, but
yeah.
yes.
Right. Any other questions from the budget committee? You good, Frank? All right, we're good.
And the select board is good too.
So Becky and I are gonna have to go back and forth on this one because this budget is weird and
It is.
split.
Okay, so the tax collector salary matches the town clerk salary.
Mine's the next line, and I have a contract, so there's a 3% in there. And same thing, same distribution, 75 to general fund, 8.34 to electric, and 8.33 to water and sewer. The next 2 lines have to do with the treasurer, so the treasurer has a stipend that she gets. Hers is actually allocated a little differently because she does more work for the utilities. So we did 50% to general fund, and the remaining 50% is split between the 3 utilities. Same thing with her deputy treasurer. These are the same as last year.
And I also left the deputy tax salary the same as well.
Yep.
So then the FICA, Medicare
Cover all those lines.
cover those lines.
The consulting / accountant fee, we do have a town CPA, as time goes on, he gets used less and less, so I've actually dropped that line quite a bit. And he's also prorated to each of the utilities, so I've broken that down to how the allocation occurred, so 4,000 from the general fund, 500 from the water, 350 from sewer, and 150 from electric, so a total of 5,000. And you'll see there is no expense yet this year. He generally does not bill me until the year is closed, and then he bills me out.
The tax postage, I increased that. I have I have a lot of certified mail that I have to send out for tax notices, and that is dependent on whether people pay their taxes or not. So I moved that up a little bit.
The audit, so we got our total audit fee for next year is $26,395. We do a 50% general fund, 50% split amongst the remaining 3 utilities, because all pieces have to be audited, but the general fund's the heavy lift. We are anticipating a single audit just due to how many projects we have going with water and sewer. So federal funds over $750,000 expended in a year, so we're anticipating that. We're hoping not to have one, but I've booked $2,750 because that's how much will be needed if we have to do a single audit next year. And there's something called the GASB 75. GASB 75 has to do with health insurance and compensated absences. So that has to occur every other year. So this is the other year. And that's $3,850. But it gets split up again amongst the utilities because it encompasses everyone that works here. General expense, so we have to pay for check stock for our AP checks, our payroll checks. We have our own printer that we use because we print a lot of things. And we want to start digitizing things, so I've put in there to purchase 2 external hard drives so that we can have one and then a backup. So I've stuck that in there as well. But overall, it's actually a decrease because our check stock's not as expensive now that we moved to our new program.
Registry of, sorry.
I got one more.
I'm sorry,
That's
I jumped
okay.
ahead.
That's
Don't think,
okay.
girls.
Just so excited.
Software. So this pays for our payroll services, which is billed on a monthly. We've not yet rolled it out, but we have a time clock being put in, so our fees went up a little bit, not too much, but that'll be added into our payroll services. But we are signing a 3-year agreement that'll lock in those prices. We have our 3rd installment of the conversion for our new software. That's where these reports came from. So this is the last year that piece will be in there, and that's $8,334. Other than that, it'll just be annual fees. Now it's your turn.
Oh, thank you. The Registry of Deeds. I have to send reports out to the Registry of Deeds bi-monthly. And I also have to send reports to them when there's a land use change tax. Again, that's dependent on if people are paying off their liens or how much land is being moved around. So I left it the same. Tax collector training, I left that the same. And the tax collector expense, so that's my software dues and envelopes. We go through a lot of envelopes.
You do go through a lot of
Go
envelopes.
through a lot of envelopes.
Blue fire.
And the budget committee expense, Kendall asked that I cut it to 50%. I did not arbitrarily change that number. Any questions on that one?
It says the audit fee on their audits was for 2025, or is it 2026?
So it's 2025 because you audited prior year.
Oh, okay, so
Yep.
that's just the audit.
So 2026 fees for the 2025 audit.
And how did you go from 26 to the budgeted 19?
So the 26 is the total, but then I break it out into the water, sewer, and electric.
Okay,
So they're
we'll go through
absorbing
those.
the remainder.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Any other questions? We're good, Andy.
Any questions? Okay. Personnel admin.
Okay. I think you were done.
Okay. Can I say one thing before I leave?
Please.
Okay.
Not my meeting, but go ahead.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry, Andy, may I say something quickly before you leave?
Sure.
Excellent. I just wanted to, say that the town hall clerk services will be, closed Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week because Luann and I are both going to a clerk training. That's all. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay, so personal admin, the first line is the sick bio, which is, full-time employees who have enough sick time can buy out up to 40 hours. So I calculated this on all those in the general fund that can partake in that, if they bought out 1 week. Health insurance for retirees, there was a 16% increase on retirees. We have 11 that are on our insurance. We have a split year for health insurance in the town, so it's one rate till June 30, and then there's a new rate July 1. So these numbers, although it's 16%, it really only affects 6 months of the year. Same thing with the medical insurance. So we actually got a 10.2% increase on our health insurance. For those of you that are new, you may not know, the town has a split, so the employees pay 10% and the town pays 90%. So that's what that figure represents. Retirement is New Hampshire Retirement sets the rates that we have to match. So for employees, it's 12.75%, and for police, it's 30.95. So that's calculated off of all of the salary lines, overtime if it's applicable, and that all gets put into that one area. So there's about a 5.5% increase. Disability insurance, so they raised half of this rate, so 5.5% on our short-term disability. The town covers short-term and long-term disability for all of its full-time employees. And life insurance also fully covered by the town, but there were no increases for next year, so we should not see anything there. Are there any questions on insurance?
What does the town have as far as health insurance?
Health Trust. So they do most of the municipalities. They're like the brokerage, so they use Blue Cross Blue Shield.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's a problem with health insurance right now.
There was a big issue with health insurance this year, and we weren't sure how that was going to play out, but Health Trust is in a stable position, so it's a risk pool with all the municipalities that are enrolled. So we're happy that we still have them. Yeah.
So I'm gonna step down from the budget committee and go from there. Land use. So we've had a few changes in land use. The first one is the administrative assistant. We're proposing a 3% raise to her. She's done a very good job, and yes, David?
Oh, go ahead. My question was, what is her rate?
She's 10,400, we're moving it up to 10,712.
No, my question was her hourly rate.
I'm not sure, what is her hourly?
She's 25.
$25 an hour,
And you're gonna increase that by,
3%, so it's like $28.50.
okay. The reason I ask is that the last line says the position is 18 to 20 hours per month. And that's 240 hours per year, and when I divided the salary by 240, it came up to $44, so I'm confused. Is it, she's actually working more
Well,
than
that's just an
more
average.
hours than
Yeah,
that?
that's just an average, it varies greatly from week to week depending upon what's going on.
Okay.
So if we've had probably 6 months that she's been very intense on a certain project.
Right.
That has cost us greatly, but we are hopeful that we are going to not have as much expense with her, as far as that goes. But there's a lot of other stuff that she does do as well, and this compensates her for that.
So, but just the 20 hours a month is actually an underestimate.
Underestimate, yes.
Okay, so that's what threw me off, okay.
Yeah. Corresponding changes in FICA and Medicaid. Legal expense, we left at $3,000, due to some changes that have happened with how the town is doing legal, so we, felt that that was sufficient. Training and workshops, we left at $720, that seems to have been adequate for, sending the entire board to go get training this year, and they all went and did a very good job. We also have monthly free training that they're also participating in, so online training. Advertising, we left it at the $600, but that's a reimbursement from what we, when a project comes in, we have to advertise different parts of it. So they actually have to pay us for that, and it's a reimbursement, show it up in the revenues. Printing, we left at $1 to keep the line open. Thank you, Town Hall, we use their printers. General expenses, we're actually down 55%. That's because we needed a new computer last year. We purchased the computer, and now we can go back to our $450, which buys us our land use books that we have to have every year, and a couple other minuscule stuff. That brings us to postage. Again, we left that at the $600. That, again, is reimbursed whatever it is that projects that come that have to be mailed out. We do have one project that has a lot of abutters coming up shortly, but that will be in this year's. And again, it's reimbursed. Land use recording secretary. We did increase that to $2,000. We have to record our meetings. We do use PVTV and Hootie here, but we do have to have somebody to actually physically record them. We are looking at a couple different options for that, some AI options, which Marissa actually helped us with the last meeting. But in case we have to buy some software and everything, or having an actual person. When the ZBA meets, they sometimes often have to have would like to have a person there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie.
Yeah, we have to have a person there.
Yeah.
Because of the importance of those minutes.
Yeah. So that's why we left that at the 2,000. Any other questions?
You're all set.
You just gonna hang out? 'Cause you're gonna-
I was gonna.
That sounds great. All right, general government buildings. So this is primarily just like the town hall and the police department. Electricity, we did decrease it a bit. We're gonna still be working on that number. As it was said in a few board meetings ago, we're gonna be doing a rate study, through the electric, so this number will be revised, before the end of the year. Heating and propane, we also decreased. Our rates are staying basically the same. It actually dipped a little. And we now have more efficient heating sources, so we should see a little bit of a decrease there.
And you get a new rate too.
And we got a new rate, so that was good. Water, we also dropped, just based off of usage. That's even with the new water rate, so it just made sense to drop it. Same sewer, we're gonna revisit, we'll be doing a rate study on sewer as well, so that number will be revised. The general expense line, so we have monitoring services for the town hall for panic alarms as well as fire. We actually just switched over to a new vendor, so that is a good thing. And that comes out of this line, as well as fire protection for the covered bridge. We have a shredder box service that's $10 a month, that's in this line. And then like general supplies, paper products, stuff like that, that is in the building, that goes into this line. Repair, replace, upgrades, so anything really that goes on in that building, like The police department just got a new sink, thank you Craig, for one of their bathrooms, they needed that replaced. Any repairs that need to occur, come out of this line, I think.
Doors, locks.
Yeah, the locks on the doors, because we've been having an issue with a door locking when it shouldn't. Kind of anything that needs to be replaced or repaired goes into this line. The cleaning contract, so you'll see that the spend's not really living up to what we budgeted. We unfortunately lost our cleaner. I want to say it was in March. Does that sound right to you? Yeah. So in March, so we were down a few weeks without anyone. We actually now have somebody that Ann found us. So she's coming in. So we actually decreased based off of her rates to what we were paying. And that also covers the cleaning for the PT. The postage line here, this has, we exclude the tax collector, town clerk for their postage lines because they have a lot of things, or Becky has a lot of things that she has to send out on a very regular basis, so it's easier for her to project if we keep them separate. But in this line, if the town hall has to send anything out, Public Works, Police, Parks and Rec, and has had some very random pieces of mail to send out, that all goes into this line. Becky also mentioned postage rates have increased twice a year for the last few years, so we did increase them. Safety equipment. So we have a joint loss safety committee meeting this week, so we may see a revisement to this line. But typically there is something that committee will discuss to replace or purchase for a specific department. So this line may be revised the next time you see it. Office supplies, so paper, ink, we get a water delivery, any miscellaneous office supplies basically in the town hall that gets used comes out of this line. And then matching grants, it's just $1 just to keep the line active in case we need to use it. And although not the same budget, but right next to it is the cemetery expense, and we've put $1 to keep that line active.
I actually have a question about cemeteries. Strangely enough.
Okay.
Who is responsible for the small cemeteries that sort of, that, you know, are abandoned around town? Is that the town's responsibility, or?
I'll have to research that one and get back to you on it.
There is a cemetery near the collection, like I was elected as cemetery trustee. You were also, but there was something like Fred said, since they didn't do something on the paperwork, I don't remember exactly what it was, there was nothing we could do until he did something. And so there, I have no idea. But there was supposedly elected trustees, cemetery trustees, but
Yeah. I have a concern about the Albrook Cemetery, on Albrook Road.
yeah.
Because we've been looking at the Revolutionary Soldiers' graves, and most of the cemeteries that they're in are fine, but that cemetery has this dying monstrous tree, which has already lost half of it. And if it falls the way it's laying, it will wipe out several gravestones. I don't know who's responsible for that.
Is it on private property?
So it's not part of somebody's land, it was
Which cemetery there?
Albrook. It's sort of a neighborhood cemetery, it's all different families, it's not one family, it's different.
We're responsible for all the cemeteries. Ultimately, we're responsible for all the cemeteries.
With the exception of Green Grove.
And if it went different, we'd be responsible for that too.
Right, exactly.
Can you take a look at the trees talking about, please?
Yeah,
I think I'm aware of it.
yeah,
It's been, you're right, it's been getting worse every year.
getting worse, yeah.
It's even gonna take out power lines if it
Yeah.
falls, the whole thing.
You may need a tree company to come in with a crane.
Yeah, it's way high because that bank's
Yeah.
20 feet up from the road, just by itself.
Sorry, I didn't-
I'll look at it.
Yeah.
Quite a ways in. It's not a big. Yeah, because Something is gonna happen. That'd be great.
I think it is me. I was just seeing if anybody had any questions. No? So the next one is insurance. So this is Primax. So with the claims, our increase went up 36.95%. A big portion of that was due to the claim with the electric department, so we apportioned this so that the electric picked up that side of it, because it was about a $263,000 claim. So that's why there was such a large increase. So we did cut that over to the electric, and there's an apportionment to water and sewer as well. Workers' compensation, so we saw a 41.6% increase there. It's based off of payroll, so Primax actually sends a spreadsheet of how they break it down for each of the departments. So those are all apportioned to their salaries.
Is there any particular reason for the increase?
They didn't specify, I think it just has to do with payroll changes, but it's just typically payroll expenses, so.
Right. But, okay. But usually, I mean, you do workers' comp because people are getting hurt.
Right, so I have with me what they send, and I don't believe the percentage of that really aligned with the increase.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're doing what we should be to keep.
So we had a
Safe.
loss ratio of actually a decrease.
Okay.
So we had a 7.7 decrease in loss, so claims
Okay.
occurring. So even though that's going down with payroll going up,
Okay.
they increased it.
It was similar to last year.
What's that?
Similar to what they did last year too.
Yeah. Unemployment insurance, minimal, but still 2.81% increase. The terrorism policy we hold with an outside vendor, and that has stayed around 1821 for the last few years, so we just decreased it to 19 in case there was any overage. And then we keep the contingency at 1,000. That's what our deductible is with Primax. And although we typically, if we have something, we have them take it off of our return, it's still good to have that 1,000 there just in case. Any questions on insurance? Although not listed on your front page, the next one is the building inspector. We have an MOU with Plymouth, so we pay them a sum certain. So that's why all of it's in the salary line. You're not gonna see it in FICA and Medicare because it doesn't exist for us anymore. So on an average of 16 hours a week, we're estimating it to come out to about 40,000. We've dropped the general expense line. We thought that they needed codes this year based off of prior information. That was incorrect, which is why the spend's really not there. So we've reduced that to 500 because they only need some office supplies. So that's special to them and not the rest of the town hall. So actually a 4% decrease on that budget. Oh, Kendall, now it's you.
Yeah. There's really no change in the health officer position. The training is for 2 conferences a year, but we also do online training monthly. I am now a board member of the New Hampshire Health Alliance, which is a benefit to the town as well because it gives us a lot more training and also opens up to a lot more resources that we didn't know we had. The one thing that I would really like to point out is that we are currently planning the health safety fair that we do every June. And this year it will be June 6th, the first Saturday of June. And we also are currently running the Ashland alerts through there, so if you haven't signed up, you should sign up for it, because it's a really good thing, it's working very well. And that's about all I have, unless you have questions.
You're all set.
Okay.
Alright, and the last one is our general assistance budget. So you may or may not know, but our welfare director does not work in the town hall. He does work remote for us, but he is very active, and proactive with the people that he helps. So he did put in an increase for pay, he's requesting an increase. He definitely does well over the hours that were generally required of a welfare officer. But he does a lot of work for the town to get people resources that not necessarily are monetary from the town. If we can find other services for them to take advantage of, he does his best to set them up with that, not to say that he would hinder a claim if it was needing to be paid out, but even if it's something that the town can't directly help with, he is responding to people and giving them other outlets to go to. So his budget has actually overall decreased. The assistance vouchers down at the end, he actually decreased from 20 to 14. As Kendall can also attest to, we've had some difficult cases over the last few years, but now that they've been resolved, we're thinking that we're not gonna need as much assistance available. But the narrative that's in here is from his email where he puts in his request. I can tell you from working with him in the office, he's really great with people that need help. He does a really great job and he spends a bit of time on it. But if you have any questions for him, I'm certainly happy to send those along to him.
I have a question.
Sure.
Given the cutbacks at the federal level, is this something that's likely to increase on the local level? I mean.
He didn't indicate that to me, but still there are certain requirements that the town still has to follow through RSA. So I don't know if that's why he's thinking to actually decrease. But I can certainly ask him if he is thinking of revising it based on recent events.
I believe from talking with him, it's more of a state and
Yeah.
non-government agencies that he deals with. And I know with the cases I've sent to him, that's been the case more of non-governmental agencies.
Yeah.
But they're getting.
Well, this was all pre-government shutdown though. too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll thinking of revising that because, as Ron pointed out, this was prior to the shutdown, so that may have changed things around for him.
I had the same question, did it make sense to me versus the presentation we had maybe a month ago, which talked about the demographics of Ashland and the percentage of people that are, lower income households. I couldn't understand why this was so low.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think-
the non-government agencies that are helping us.
Yeah.
I think part of it though, is the unemployment level is low.
Yeah.
The poverty level, the income levels are low, but the unemployment level is low also.
People are working.
I think if you had a higher unemployment, I think you'd definitely be revising those numbers, because there'd be more people asking for help.
Greatly advised, would be
Yeah.
revising because of rents.
But I will say that his email was prior to the government shutdown.
Yeah.
And obviously, we need to revisit that, and because as the governor said, like SNAP benefits are gonna run out by the end of the month. She's looking for alternatives and stuff, so this is gonna stay fluid for a while until we see where things go.
Because it's 10 people, it's less than $2,000 per person, it's not very much.
Right.
That's everything.
Any more questions? Yeah, all right. Under new business. For the selectmen, we have the signing of the MS1. That's the document that they use.
So I'd like to formally close the joint meeting.
Okay, Go ahead.
So, unless you guys have anything, do you have anything you guys need to talk about first? Okay. Can you all meet on the 28th? It'll be next Tuesday.
What time?
6 o'clock. Okay, I move that we have our next meeting on the 28th.
I actually don't know, so,
I'm okay.
Okay.
but, okay.
Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Our next meeting will be the 28th, 6 o'clock at the water and sewer as long as it's available. And with that, I close the budget portion of this meeting.
Okay, folks, just so you know, the next joint meeting will be held at 6 o'clock. I don't remember the date,
It'll be
It's
November
gonna be
3rd.
November 3rd.
November 3rd.
Yep.
Have a good night, folks.
Thank you.
Okay, our next, BOS, next item on the agenda is the MS1. We need to sign it. This is the document that is used to set our tax rate. There's nothing on here that we can change. Do I have any questions on this? Does anybody want to see it?
They should all have a
Oh,
copy.
you've all got a copy.
You
Okay,
can just sign that one if you want.
Yep. I'll make a motion that we sign the MS1.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
You can vote.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Folks, we all have a copy of the minutes for September 22nd. We did not have them at our last meeting. I'd like to take care of these tonight, seeing as we all have them. Do I have a motion on these meeting minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve the meeting minutes from September 22nd.
And I will second. So I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Having no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the town manager's report.
Okay, thank you, Andy. First thing is a campground discussion. Site number 1 is currently vacant, and I think, I forget when the meeting was, but discussed about possibly putting a camping cabin on that site to, if Ann wants to speak to that, that'd be great. It's kind of her brainchild there.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking that, like people have said in the past, when the campers get in there, there's no turnover, very few turnover, people stay there, and not very many people get to use it. So my thought was if we get a cabin, a little cabin there, we can rent it 2 days at a time, 3 days a week, whatever. And that way, other people get to use it and enjoy it, and it's permanent there, so it's not like we're having people drive in and out and disturbing the land and stuff. So that was my thought to get something like that in.
And
To
see
the
how it
camp,
goes.
yeah, and see how it goes for a year or so.
There any numbers on that yet? And just thinking about the financial viability of it, because you're planning on how many, one or two?
One,
One.
on site one,
And how would that be overseen? I mean, there'll be a requirement to market and keep track of who's there and who's not. Sounds like there's an overhead associated with doing this.
yeah, Ron has mentioned that we should probably look into having, like a manager on site like there used to be. They would get put their camper on a site that's vacant, and they would take care of that kind of stuff, you know, cleaning it when people leave, taking care of the bathhouse and stuff like that.
And what do you believe the revenue potential is of this? I mean, because with you losing the revenue on one of the sites, do you believe that the revenue from this operation would be enough to cover the seasonal rental of the site on top of the person who oversees it?
I've got some numbers of other campgrounds in the area that have those. And there's one in Thornton that gets $159 a night. There's no bathroom, no kitchen. I can show you some pictures of these things. Adventure Bound, they have no bathrooms or kitchen in it as well, and it's $176 a night. Lost River is between $175 and $210. Moosalok, Hillock?
Over in Warren, yeah.
They're between $159 and $229, depending on if it's a weekend or holiday or.
How many nights during the season are they renting? I guess so. What's the total revenue for the
I
season?
didn't get exact numbers, but they said they're usually full. I mean, they didn't say out of the 6 months, well, I don't know how many days it is, that they were always full. But they said that they more than make up for what they are. Because right now, if you figure it out, it's $33 a night that our campers are paying. Yes.
I had a question, I know the EDC is looking at a master plan for that whole beach area. And I'm wondering if this is maybe should be tied into that look. Because I think that maybe they've already applied for a grant to do that, so.
That's a good point. Something we could talk about that. I have a question, because we were at the discussion of having bathrooms or not. Did I hear you mention at one point that the plumbing is right near where this cottage
Oh,
would
yeah, every
be?
site has plumbing and heat, plumbing and water.
So the possibility of actually putting a toilet in it, a half,
Sure,
just like a half bath, you don't need a shower, but.
The reason why we said that we probably wouldn't need to is just because where it is located beside the bathhouse, we took that site with that in thought.
So at $150 a night, the break even would be about 60 rental nights per season. So then do you feel comfortable that you could achieve, have it that's being used for 60 nights out of the season on this daily basis?
Well, half a year is what, 180? 365,
Well, yeah,
180, so I'm thinking a third of the time at least, yeah.
You know, and
We have to pay for the building too, so.
Yep, we do, and they have all kinds of things out that are like, if you wanna look there, have the little porches on them and stuff for like under $10,000 to get them built and everything. Well, they bring them and put them up. And these, if you wanna take a look at these are what they're renting out, just what's inside the cabins that they're renting out for that amount of money. Yeah, that's a deluxe one.
That's like $1,000 a week you make.
Huh?
$1,000 a week, something like that. Times 25 weeks.
Yeah.
It's $25,000.
Well, that's,
You know, that's low end.
no, but you, because you have people coming in and out, you're not gonna get 100%, occupancy. And it really becomes a matter of how well it's marketed and, what, the occupancy turns out to be for the season. In my numbers, if you get 60 nights a season, that is 1/3 of the 6 months. I think for an operation like that, you're doing well. Now, that puts it at the break even as far as, if both sites were used and leased seasonally, you come out to be about the same, but yet you're still not covering the cost. So you've gotta do at least that and a little better. Diana, you comfortable with that?
I don't see why we wouldn't be able to do it for more than 60 nights.
Okay.
And I don't know what the pricing
Yeah, I
would be, what it would be set at, or,
They're some of the very first ones that are rented. They have a waiting list.
But, and somebody, that you'd have to find somebody to move in there and be the administrator for this, which includes having to market it and make sure that we're getting occupancy.
Yeah, a lot of times you can find KOAs using a lot. They chase the good weather, so they pull their camper and they come up here for the in the northeast for the summer.
Yep.
And then when the fall hits, they head south or somewhere and actually my wife thought about doing that when we retired, is just chase the KOAs, chase the good weather.
Yeah, they do that, they go all
Yeah.
over the place, yes,
Yeah.
they do.
And they actually work pretty reasonable,
They do, well, they get, yes, and yes.
so that could be an option
Yeah.
for the staffing level.
I just have one comment. So I think we know one Ashland resident that has one of these on her property. And she gets 5 stars on Airbnb, and I know all the numbers because she shared them with me. I mean, maybe have a quick chat with her, because it seems like it should work and you should be able to spend enough money to get a really nice one, so it lasts for a long time, because people are looking for things like this, based on that one data point that I had to look at it this morning. Or nice too.
And the money would come out of, to buy the structure would come out of the Park and Recreation budget?
what I'm thinking is, there's a percentage that comes out, the town voted on to go into an account. And I believe that there'll be enough in that
You might
account
just have enough to cover.
to cover that for the spring.
Well, to me, it sounds viable, gonna be an effort, if you're willing to, put the effort and arrange this, so I think it's, your prerogative, and if the money's coming out of the Parks and Recreation account, you can, you can pursue this and then let us know how it works.
So Charlie, you wanna take a vote on this?
Yeah, I think I would make a motion, I don't know if it's necessary, but I'd make a motion that Parks and Recreation use one of the campsites to set up a structured camp residence. The second site would be, we would solicit an administrator for the rental site. And that we would set a goal of covering the costs and having this occur economically profitable for the town.
I'll second that. So I have a motion and a second. Do I have any further discussion?
I do have a concern. I think putting a cottage there is a nice thing. I do have a concern of the bathhouse. We all know that it's towards the end of something, it's not the most attractive building. And concerned about that being a downside, that's why I was really asking about putting the bathrooms in it, if it's something that can be done. Because a lot of the campers, they have their own bathroom facilities, so they don't use it. And I really, I'm I want Ashland to be a proud town, I want us to be proud of what we're putting out there. And so, if we're gonna put this in, Craig said that the facilities are right there next to it, so it's not like a big leap to get them into the building. We just have to make sure it gets winterized and, kind of stuff. But that's what I would like.
I would say we could extend the pipe from where it is, right directly underneath it. We could do that digging, have Andrew help us, and we'll extend the pipe under wherever we end up putting it, whether it's on the right or left or.
I don't think it needs a shower, I'm just talking, toilet and sink.
Yeah, I was just wanted to show you that
Right,
these without that are getting that much money.
right.
So if we do any kind of upgrading from that, then we'll be able to charge more.
So that's what I would like to see it to, because eventually we've talked about the bathhouse needing to be done something with it, but that's a different project, so.
Anybody else? So we have a motion and a second to approve this. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 401. Motion carries.
Alright. Thank you. Next thing I have is I attended a meeting with the director of the Lakes Region Planning Commission to discuss various grant opportunities. One of the grants to consider is a brownfield assessment grant. The select board must take a vote on the record for an assessment grant application to move forward. After that happens, LRPC will work with the town to develop and submit this application. So I'll expand on that a little bit before I go to the next one. So this is for any sites in town that has the possibility of being a Brownsfield. We already know of one site. There could be other sites. They would go around the town with us and select what should be assessed. Then vote by the board here, then they would work with us and the property owner to get permission to do the assessment through the grant. And then the next phase after that happens, LRPC also made, get confused here. So the next step would be remediation. Obviously, property owners can't go for grants to remediate, but the town can, so that'll be another issue to solve in the future. So that's one thing. Then the other thing that they brought up was LRPC also is aware of transportation funding opportunities that are available throughout the state. It is highly recommended that we appoint Tim Peters and Linda Barnes to attend LRPC meetings to bring information back to the town. I think, Craig, you're the only one on it right now, and you're so busy with everything you got going on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And they're very excited to do so. I mean,
Yeah, I talked to both of them.
Okay.
I said, do it.
have at it. But they need to be appointed.
Have they filled out the paperwork yet?
I don't believe so. I'm just making you aware that we're gonna need to do that. So that's that part. Obviously, I'll be talking to Lakes Region Planning Commission to go around town and look at different sites, and I'll come back to the board for a vote in the future. Craig and his team have done a fantastic job cleaning up the community garden area. If anybody has a chance, go up to school and take a peek at it. I don't know if they've started constructing the boxes yet.
Nothing yet, but
Looks good.
he's gotta make the boxes at some point.
You did save one tree, but we probably ought to look for another, huh?
Well, I don't know if it's sumac or not.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a
We also, it's a garden, they want sunshine, so we don't want too many trees.
Well, I thought they wanted a tree, they
Well,
should
they-
put like a peach tree or something in
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, they wanted one in between the two
Right.
picnic tables they
Yeah,
wanted to put
oh, I
in
get it,
there.
but, you know, getting.
But the tree they wanted to save looks like a so I saved it, but it looks like a sumac tree. No, I don't think they wanted that one.
Well, that's work in progress.
Right.
So the electric department has been out trimming trees on North Ashland Road and will be doing other areas in town. That's pretty much all I've got. I didn't realize our meeting was gonna go so quick with the budget committee, so I kinda kept it a little short.
Do we have any, selectmen's items?
Did you wanna talk about the issue with the campground?
Not public.
Oh, okay.
No selectmen items, any old business that anybody wants to bring up? So do we have a non-public?
We have one.
At this time, we're gonna go to non-public.